Cosplayers, what's one cosplay you will never do again and why? Batman. Some kid pulled my cape and it took my helmet and back piece out. They were all one piece of armor and I couldn't put them back together. Daredevil, I couldn't see shit. Rorschach. I saw almost nothing under that mask and couldn't enjoy anything. Hamilton. Turns out prop guns look like guns that are illegal. Especially dueling pistols. Motoko from Ghost in the Shell in her sack full tech suit gear. Full body suit with Gore-Tex and ended up getting heat stroke in the first 30 minutes. Haven't worn it since. Lord Business from the Lego Movie. Or actually any Lego character for that matter. The head was too heavy, and I could barely move. Master Chief. Every Halloween at school I would wear an over-the-top costume, and for my senior year I wanted to go above and beyond. So I worked overtime to buy Halo 4 Master Chief armor. Only problem was that the armor pieces were made of plastic, so I couldn't sit completely down without breaking the thigh pieces. So I had to go through every class squatting over my seat instead of actually sitting in it. My legs were killing me at the end of the day. Also, my costume was very loud. The sound of plastic rubbing against each other was terrible. Now I usually go for smaller cosplay. This year I went as a vault dweller and I could actually move and stuff. Charlie Chaplin. He's easily mistaken for another guy. I dressed as Link and got the normal "Oh hi Zelda," which I think is funny, and laughed it off, but also got a lot of nerdy guys questioning me about my dedication to the Legend of Zelda. Shit like, "You're not a true fan if you didn't play," insert their fave Zelda game here, and if I stated that I have indeed played it, they would then question every detail about the game to prove it. A girl could dress up as anyone and get harassed though, honestly. The lusty Argonian maid, for obvious reasons. The costume was too much for me, and now I live my life making inappropriate Todd Howard jokes, all while dressed as a seductive Argonian. Vash the Stampede. One of my favorite characters of all time. The hair takes way too long to get right. I don't use wigs. Plus I lost the gun prop I made and I don't feel like making a new one. Honestly, I'm never going to cosplay any guy character who doesn't have, like, plate armor or something. Binding did not go well for me, even with a legitimate binder made with folks who bind daily/near daily in mind, and I like my lungs working. Dr. Roxo. Nobody wants to see that. Kakakayerha. Real reason is, while fun, I have no place to put anything, no pockets, nowhere to store cash/ID, and if it's cold, forget about it. Never again will I cosplay full anime plate armor. I went as Gilgamesh from Fate's Day/Night, all 3D printed, 8 unrelenting hours trapped in a plastic cocoon. Skin unable to breathe, pinching, serious chafing, huge welts and blisters all over, and on the way home I turned in a funny way, snap went the armor, and by that point I had enough. I took everything off, threw it in the nearest bin, and made the remaining journey home barefoot in cycling shorts and a red cape. To be purely because I have no boobs and it makes me too insecure, lol. D.Va. I'm a guy, and the suit wasn't exactly made for male anatomy. It also didn't have any pockets. The wig I wore was a massive pain, especially since I'm not used to having long hair. It kept getting in front of my eyes, I kept getting hair in my mouth, and it got more and more tangled as the night went on. but the worst part was that going to the bathroom was a massive pain. I'd have to leave the glove/headset with a friend, go to the bathroom, take the wig off, hang the wig up, unzip the suit from the back, use the toilet, zip the suit up, put the wig back on, adjust the wig, then go put the headset and gloves back on. Misa Misa from Death Note. No one knew who I was supposed to be. Very cold cosplay in early spring. Flandre Scarlet. Don't get me wrong, it's probably my favorite one I've done so far, but I hit so many people trying to walk around with those wings and they're not easy to manage in a convention setting. It wasn't a cosplay, but a Halloween costume for a university party. I went as Two-Face as part of a group Halloween costume, Batman villains, and went all in on the liquid latex face makeup. It looked grotesque. I was distinctly proud of myself. There was a guy from my course that I thought I was definitely in with who was also at the party. It turns out that fake horror burns aren't exactly conducive to drunken makeouts, and he ended up going off with someone whose costume consisted of a corset, a pair of booty shorts, and a set of cat ears. Me. Bitter. No. When I was 22, I was in great shape and decided to wear a Spider-Man costume for our Halloween bar crawl. It was very form-fitting. I had over half a dozen middle-aged women grab at my crotch. Edit. I'm aware that's blatant harassment, and under no circumstances, male or female, is it okay to lay hands on another person in that manner. However, it really didn't bother me, at least not on a deep emotional level. I was 22, and active duty in the Marine Corps infantry, so maybe my mental fortitude was different than most. All that being said, however, I did take it as a life lesson. Having this experience opened my eyes even further to what a lot of women go through. From that point on, I have changed how I approach and talk to women. Unfortunately, it took that experience for me to open my eyes, but I guess in my defense, at 22, being active duty since I was 19, and being the biggest loser in my high school, my romantic experience was nil back then. However, my mother raised me to respect all women. Star Wars cosplays are frustrating to do. Because no matter what character you are, you'll get some dipshit who starts a conversation with you and decides to go in depth on why Disney ruined their childhood. If someone is expressing their passion for something, don't complain about the merits of it to them. No joke, I cosplayed as Kanan Jarrus, the Jedi Knight character in Rebels, and someone decided to stop me in a hallway at a convention and give what I can only describe as a lecture on why the Clone Wars is better than Rebels, while I was cosplaying a fucking Rebels character. Had the same thing happen when I did a Rogue One cosplay, Krennic, where someone tried to convince me that Revenge of the Sith is better, despite my repeated attempts to just say okay, and bow out of the conversation. I'm working on a Mandalorian cosplay now and already dreading what I'll have to hear next. Let people enjoy things. I dressed up as Bender from Futurama 3 years in a row, but I don't think I will ever do it again because it was such a pain in the ass to see. Here's a picture of me in costume and I could literally only see out of the 2 tiny holes I made in the eyes. I could probably figure something out, but I'm too lazy for that, and the way I would make the head was pretty easy. Plus, since the bottom part was just long johns, you could see the outline of my junk sometimes, and I had a drunk gay guy grab it at a party because of that. I cosplayed Rainbow Dash for a con back in 2016 and my god, I kept getting harassed by these middle-aged boomer bronies and these little kids would not stop tugging at my tail. Out of all of the cosplays I've made, the most awkward is definitely Elma from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I've always worn her to summer cons and my horn would fall off every time. But the worst time was when it literally broke off and left residual model magic on my forehead. Also the fabric I used for the tail stained my ass blue. Thanks Yaya Han. Dressed up as Jack Skellington once and only ever the once. Why so many people wanted to hear me say his quotes was beyond me. Putting on his trademark voice so many damn times actually made me physically sick. Nofus from Spirited Away. At least not in public. I was accused of racism, asked to leave the subway, then taken aside by a very angry subway security employee and had to frantically find a photo of Nofus to show him to avoid more trouble. In fairness, he then was very concerned and helpful and advised me to take the costume off before I got myself beaten up by someone. My hometown has a very big Arabic population, so I can see why they thought I was being an asshole, what with the black cloak, black paint on my arms and the gold painted pebbles in my hands. Not me, but my friend is Chinese and cosplayed as Mei last year at a convention. Recently we went to one, but she felt like it'd be inappropriate to cosplay as her during the controversy, especially since she's Chinese. Lin, from Fire Emblem, the Blazing Blade, bought the costume and was excited to put it on, only to realize that you could literally see the top of my underwear and some extra skin above it front be slit on the side. I'm definitely too young for a thong, so I might have to wait a few years to do that one. Rip over $100. I did a steampunk cosplay. I made a belt out of chains that wrapped down my leg and had a corset and gold half masquerade mask. The corset was a nightmare to get on by itself, not to mention making sure my chains didn't break or fall off. Now I cannot remember how to get the corset on, so I gave up, haha. Freddy Fazbear from FNAF. Too many little kids bombarding me and being rude. Hated it. I once went to a Halo convention as Church, from Red vs. Blue. Midway through the con, I had one of my friends pretend to kill me. I felt so bad for him, because everyone was screaming at him, "You killed Church, you team-killing fucktard. If I ever do it again, I'll claim to be Epsilon instead." I dressed up as the guy from Ghost with a shitty Pope costume and corpse paint for Halloween in Texas. Almost got my ass kicked by a drunk hick who was upset about the shooting in Pittsburgh that had just happened and overheard me making a joke about selling indulgences. Was a weird night. Hydra Soldier. I was pretty young at the time and very proud of my cosplay, but someone called me a Nazi and started harassing me. My older brother told her off with facts. Red Skull wanted to kill Hitler but used him for the funds. He explained it to me cause I didn't understand what was going on at the time, so not a Nazi, and defused the situation before my dad realized what happened. Sparky, the plucky mechanic from Speed Racer. Right now you're probably thinking of the big guy with the red shirt and mustache. That's not him. That's Pops, the one who designed and built the Mach 5. I'm talking about Sparky. The dude with the red hat and yellow shirt who probably got the least airtime out of all the main characters. I don't even think he was in every episode. I put some work into it too. Went out to Michael's and got the red hat and a yellow t-shirt that I spray painted the S on. Had a little wrench and a handkerchief. Went out to a huge rave on Halloween and not a single person had a clue what my costume was. I was just a guy in a t-shirt and a hat. There was at least 2 speed racers also in attendance and even they had no idea. So next time I cosplay, I guess I won't go as a fairly obscure character that just wears regular street clothes. Stormtrooper. It was custom made to fit me and I was so uncomfortable in it. It was hot and I couldn't see. I also would be lucky if I came out of it without cutting myself. Gibral from No Game No Life. My boyfriend spent the entire convention walking annoyingly close behind me because of all the incels trying to take creep shots on my ass in the short shorts. Other incels wanted pictures with me in an attempt to fondle me any way they could even though I asked them not to touch me. Nightwing. I could not sit down and could barely get in and out of the suit. Never again. A close second is Chell from Portal, because while the actual outfit was comfortable the shoes left me blisters and my arms ached from carrying the portal gun all day. Reinhardt. Had to work for ages to make that costume. Got harassed by people trying to take photos with me as well. Thankfully my cosplay group hasn't gotten to that point yet. The bad experiences we keep secluded from our own cosplays. Sure, we have had creeps follow us around. Heck, I've had guys come onto me as anti-bug not caring who I was portraying, just was interested what was under the bodysuit. But, we keep on going. I'm nervous for the cosplays I will be doing in the future. I'm hella nervous, but I'm determined to do my best and see people happy. Now, the day I get to cosplay a dude I will be so happy. Frank the Giant Bunny Rabbit. Turns out a furry onesie can get really warm when you walk around with it all day. I went as Papa Lazaro once, a long time ago. I'd never do that again in this day and age. Looking back, it was probably inappropriate. Twilight Sparkle got so many creepy comments. Nami from One Piece. It was a bikini top. Had a nip slip, which wasn't too bad, and a dude jumped in front of me, let me know, and covered me while I fixed it. The problem is that he then spent the next 2 days thanking me for the experience. Bro, one thank you is weird. 2 days. I cosplayed a joint. Was hard to drink my beer. Also hard to breathe. Would not recommend. I did a costume of Jester from Critical Role. Within the first hour of the convention I has broken something made of glass that was part of the costume, and completely lost another part of it. I had an allergic reaction to the hair dye I used and was in a large amount of pain for the entire day. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, and it was so bad that I abandoned the convention after the first day and didn't even use the 3-day pass I bought. And after traveling really far to go to the convention because of specific celebrities that I wanted to see there. I dunno, nothing on the characters specifically, but even though that costume contains some of the best work I've had on a costume, of myself and others who helped me, I just can't stand to think about wearing it ever again. I dressed up as Robot Unicorn from the Flash game and got hit on by 5 French guys. I'm a straight guy. Also glitter everywhere. I dressed up in a pun costume that was a mix between Inspector Gadget and a go-go dancer. I was Go-Go Gadget. I had neon fishnets, string lights in my trench coat, light-up glasses, and all these other rave gadgets. I wouldn't do it again, because wearing Heelys for hours tore up my feet. Sad but not surprising that most of these comments are about women being harassed. The fact that events have to show signs that cosplay equals consent is crazy. The dark and ugly side of this culture, cosplay/gaming/weeb/otaku/mo fandoms, is that many young boys develop and fetishize women's bodies and sometimes young girls, the latter of which makes me sick. Loli is a form of pedophilia. I once saw a guy cosplaying as the alien from the Alien vs Predator movies. Wore a full rubber, no idea what it was exactly, suit in what was probably 40 degrees Celsius. I asked him if he didn't feel hot. He said, "I'm literally dying." So yeah, he probably won't do that again. Not me, but a friend I knew did Harley Quinn one year, the same year as Suicide Squad actually, and she got groped by men asking for pictures with her since she did look very much like Margot Robbie and she is naturally attractive. Not only was I disgusted, but she was so upset and infuriated that she no longer wishes to cosplay in anything with even remote levels of sex appeal. Sad face. If this gets seen, it could get very interesting. Kaneki, the tentacles are so heavy, sad face. Rick from Rick and Morty. I did it back in 2015 and now it's just been done so many times and the Rick and Morty fandom isn't really my crowd. Lady Sif. My helmet was super heavy and the fur and layers were too hot for a summer convention. I may try to make a different version of her costume someday, but it's far more detailing than I expected. Asuna from Alfheim. It's not worth the body-shaming comments and groping I received. One of the 300. I'll never be in that kind of shape again. Anything from a 90s anime that isn't Evangelion or Pokemon. I cosplayed Yukio from Ranma. It was one of the first popular dubbed animes and she's the childhood friend of the protagonist, a year or two ago at Anime Expo. I put in a lot of work to make the costume authentic and only 3 people recognized me. It was almost heartbreaking. Mystique. I was fully clothed and 17 and yet the internet was creepy. Would totally do Nigel Thornberry Sailor Moon again though. Pyramid Head. Like, on stilts. So uncomfortable. Diavolo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I paint the black top on by hand every time I wear it and it takes usually 2 to 3 hours to get ready. Nanako from P4. There was nothing creepier than that being a cosplay that attracted men. Man, I really wish everyone posting about their cosplay outfits would share pictures. Yeah. I think the one guy I have in mind was more interested in the sexy cosplay types. I'm not sure if that is any better than creeping on kids. Any anime girl character.